Welcome, team. Happy week. Happy trading. Hi, Patrick. How are you?
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, team. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, followers. Nice to see you, everyone. I hope everyone having a great trading day. If maybe not a great trading day, but hopefully a great risk management on his side. So we are really excited for today's session. Today we're speaking about setup, how you can set up your MentorQ dashboard, how you can set up your TradingView indicator, how you can use our intraday levels. So everything is about today about setup. And Fabio, I would say let's go.
Yeah. Before we go, as always, Patrick, I'm gonna just share the disclaimer for a few seconds. All right. As always, any question, guys, send it in the comment. We're gonna also have a live Q&A at the end. But basically, as Patrick mentioned, today is all about setup. So we're gonna show you how you can effectively use your new MentorQ dashboard and how you can actually create like a morning routine so that you can be prepared for everything that is happening. And then we are also gonna show you how you can then incorporate the new intraday gamma models for your trading and how you can actually use them effectively. So before we start, for those who haven't followed the release last week, we now have everything within your account dashboard. We now have a new dashboard internally where we can access our data, we can access our integrations. We are now integrated with TradingView plus 7 other applications like Quantower, Atas, Bookmap, NinjaTrader, Sierra Chart, Thinkorswim, and MetaTrader. You can access the academy. You can access our guides. So if you go back to our guides, you can have access to all our documentation. Everything you need to learn how to use our system is here. And also within the academy, you also have access to all our videos and tutorials. But let's go into the dashboard. So by clicking on the data section, you will get into our account dashboard. So today we're going to show you how you can customize your dashboard, how you can add our models to your dashboard, and then how you can kind of like use it and use it in conjunction with your tools. So the first step is, as you open, you will have a default window. Right now, yours might look a little bit different. I just emptied out my dashboard so that we can show you how you can customize it. You will have the 3 tickers right here, SPX, QQQ, and VIX, but we can add more, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Scrolling down, you have access to our CTAs models and our vol control funds models. And then below, you can also access our screeners, and we're going to go into details maybe a bit later. Then you have the Ask section right here. So the Ask section is very, very similar to our bot that we had on Discord. And this allows you to basically request data from our system. And as you can see at the top, you have the ticker, you have the date, and then you have the type of commands that you want to access. So we have our intraday commands, and we have our end of day commands, which you guys are used to. And then simply by clicking on any one of these, this will appear on the list, and you can keep going and you can add more data right there. So in order for you to customize your dashboard, so if we go back here, you can see that I only have one widget or one model. I'm going to show you how you can quickly add more. But before we do that, let's start from our morning preparation. So the first thing we want to look at it in the morning is our liquidity snapshot. And we want to look at a few different things and a few different fields in this section. The first thing we want to look for is our gamma conditions. So we want to understand if our asset is in a positive or negative gamma, right? So we have this right here. We have it in green or red, so you can quickly visualize it. And then we also want to see, for example, if our momentum is bullish and what is the expected move for the day, and what is obviously the implied volatility and historical volatility. But then let's add more. So I want to customize my dashboard. So every morning when I open it up, I'm going to see exactly the same thing that I want to look for. So we go on the Ask section first, and you can open any ticker you want right here. And let's start with our end of day commands, right? So we have our liquidity snapshot right here. And then the next thing I want to do is really look at our NetJax chart. that for me is obviously the most important. I want to look for positioning. I want to quickly understand what are the key levels, and I want to quickly understand basically if we are in a kind of call dominated environment and what's the strike price that I should pay attention to, because those could become our market reaction zone. So in order for me to add this to my screen, I have a button right here, which is add to dashboard. Click it. And then if I want to also learn about this model or this chart, I can also click on this button here, which is the how to use, which is our guide that can tell you more about it. The next step is the net jacks chart. Look at all the expiration within the option chain, but I also want to look at our multi-expiration net jacks. And what this chart does is really show you 4 expirations, the next 2 expiration, which in this case for QQQ are the 0 DTE and 1 DTE. And then the bottom chart is our highest net jacks and our second highest net jacks. So I want to add this chart to my dashboard, and I'm going to add to my dashboard right there, which is great. And then I'm going to keep going. So the next step I want to look for is my option matrix. So I want to basically quickly visualize the status of the option chain. I want to quickly understand how much gamma is expiring today or in the next few days. And I also want to look at the jacks change over time. So the matrix is a good way to understand the situation, if we're in positive or negative gamma, and what are the levels of the expiration that I should be looking for. So I can add that to my dashboard right there. And then let's continue. So I also want to look for volume and open interest, of course. So I want to add this to my chart or to my dashboard. I'm going to click there. And then I'm also very interested in our swing model. So the swing model, and we have many sessions about it. I want to quickly understand if we are in a bullish bias or in a bearish bias. And I also want to understand the levels at the 5 days and 20 days. So let's start with the 5 days. I'm going to add it to the dashboard. And then I'm also going to look for our 20 days model right there. And I'm going to add this to the dashboard as well. And then the next thing I also want to look for is my skew chart. This is very important for me, is looking at implied volatility of calls and puts. And I want to understand if we are in a bullish or bearish kind of cycle. So I want to add that to my dashboard. And then finally, there's more here, but I'm just going to add my levels. So within MentorQ, you can access different types of levels. The first would be our gamma levels for TradingView. Add those there. I also want to add my blind spots levels, and obviously not all the asset will have blind spots level, but for indices and futures, they will be there. And then I also want to add my swing levels. Right. So now I think this is a good start. Now let's go and see how it looks like. So if I click back on my QQQ chart, now I have everything saved right here. So now I have my liquidity snapshot, my net gamma exposure, multi-expiration, volume and open interest, our swing model, and then I also have my TradingView levels right there, and our skew and our swing model 20-day. So this is fully customizable. You guys can add as many widgets as you want, and you can save it. And then next is, how can I now add my watch list? So how can I now basically create a list that I always look for? So let's start with maybe like looking at some stocks that I like, for example, Meta. So as you can see, the dashboard is now changing, and by simply clicking on the heart icon right here, this will add basically my ticker to the left here. And let's add some more. So let's go on NVIDIA. I'm also going to click on the heart symbol right there. So now NVIDIA is there, and let's add maybe a few more. So let's add Apple. And maybe also a stock that we all net. So Netflix. Right. And now let's add one more. Let's add Palantir. All right. So now I basically, in a few minutes, I've set up my dashboard, I've set up my watch list, and now I can simply open up in the morning and simply have everything right there. So we have a questions, how can I remove items from the dashboard? Very good question. So we are developing a way for you to quickly like reshuffle and reorder, and also reorder the order right there of the stock. But for now, to remove anything from the dashboard, you can simply open up the command that you want to remove and just click on the remove from dashboard button right there. And basically that's gonna like go away from the dashboard, and then it's gonna be saved on your profile, and the next day you open it up, it will all be there. You can also then access our CTAs model right there. So by clicking on CTAs, you will have all our tables and all our charts, and you can also do the same with our vol control funds models right there. So everything is going to be very easy. So once you set it up, it's all there for you for the next day. Right. Let me know if that makes sense, Patrick.
Yeah, it makes completely sense, and I think it's also really good that we speaking always about build and morning routine. Yeah, Fabio.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
in a few sessions, weeks before, we was speaking about how you can build your morning routine with our Discord bot, and now we can talk about again how you can build your morning routine with our MentorQ dashboard. So you was showing us on a really good way how we can add stuff on our dashboard, how we can remove stuff on our dashboard, how we can build our watch list, and this is the way how you can build now on a finger snap your morning routine. So you open your dashboard, you have all data what you need, and that's powerful. And I think, Fabio, um, we improve the dashboard day by day. Yeah, so there are many stuff are coming. So this is only the first version what we have, but we was making a fantastic job what we
Yeah.
have now, and more things will be coming. So and I think it's a
Yeah.
great way. But let's check if we're getting some new questions. That's really easy way to set up multiple symbols on the watch list. Great, thanks. Exactly. This is the way. So make it easy and simple and very fast to access the data. So that's one of our mission.
Yeah.
Hello Max, welcome back. Nice to see you. Also Sean, welcome. Um, Sean, can you rearrange the order once you set up the dashboard tickers, Fabio?
So we are building this. So this is going to be available very soon. So we are going to have the ability for you to drag and drop the tickers and very easy set it up. We're also going to have the ability for you to, once you access the screeners, being able to click on any of the tickers and open those up in the dashboard. So that's going to be available too. So those are all work in progress that we're working on. So there's going to be a lot coming over the next few weeks. Yeah.
Okay, now we're getting more advanced questions. I love this. So
Yeah, I
therefore,
think
we have the
we're
session.
gonna let's keep this for later, maybe, Patrick, and then
Yes.
yeah, let's keep that. And guys, keep coming, keep sending questions, and we'll answer all of that. But the next step is really everything, all the things that everybody has asked about. So how about your intraday gamma levels, and how about how can I bring them to TradingView? So in the next few minutes, we're going to show you how you can use the intraday stuff, and also how can you bring it to TradingView very easily. So first of all, we are also going to have an intraday dashboard, so you'll be able to actually access directly the intraday stuff from here. For now, the intraday models are under the Ask section. So simply come here and type in your ticker. So let's go and we were looking at Meta, for example, before. Let's click on Meta. You can also go back in time right here. So now on the bot, we used to have 5 days of history. Now we are providing you with 3 months of data. So you can always go back in time, click on the calendar here and just go back and see the models historically. And then here we have our intraday commands right there. So here we have our net gamma exposure, 0 DTE. So this would be the next weekly in the case of Meta, but if you're looking at SPX or SPY, this would be the next day expiration, so the 0 DTE options. And here you can access the intraday command right there. So here you see you have the timestamp at 12:15, and then you also have the button right there where you can go back in time and see the previous snapshot. So you can have the 10:45 and the 9:45, 9:35, and so on. So here you can go back and very quickly understand, okay, has there been any changes in the net jacks for the next expiration? Or if we want to look at all the expiration, then we can see, okay, like what's the intraday net gamma exposure for all the option chain on Meta in this case. And very easy, we can go back again, look at the snapshot always right here, go to the previous snapshot, and then simply look at the change in the data. So these are obviously our main chart, which before was the multi-expiration and the all expiration. These are intraday, so they update multiple times a day. We also have our volume intraday, so we look at 0 DT options. In this case, obviously for Meta is the next weekly. In the case of SPX would be the next expiration, and then we show you the change in volume. Again, also different time stamps. Here we have the 12:15, and we can always go back in time as well. So very, very easy. Then also we have our intraday TradingView levels. So here we can have this is the meta, this is our timestamp, and then again, if we wanted to go back to the previous timestamp, we can look at it right here, and then in a second we're going to show you how to import those into TradingView. And then most important is really our Jax difference model. So when we look at the intraday kind of gamma exposure, right? You want to understand basically where is the gamma increasing or where is the gamma decreasing, and what are the strike levels that could become big reaction zones throughout the day. So here you have the chart and you can spot it right there. But what if you really wanted to understand the delta, the changes in the jacks coming from different strike prices? So we have our models right here. One, we show you the jacks difference of the current timestamp versus the end of day net gamma exposure. So in this case, we have our 12:15 snapshot versus the 7:45 snapshot. And again, let's actually go back into the different timestamp that we have. So we have our 7:45, our 9:35, our 10:30, 12:15, 2:45, and 3:30. And why do we have a 7:45 snapshot? Because very important, the options data updates, the open interest of the options data updates at the end of the session, but it is published only the next morning. So in order for you to get the updated open interest of today's session, you will see it tomorrow morning at around 6 or 7 a.m. in your brokerage platform. So we are capturing that with the pre-market snapshot, and then obviously we are also capturing the other timestamps. So at the open, the first 5 minutes, we'll take another snapshot, and then we'll keep going for the rest of the day. And we're going to keep adding more and more of these snapshots throughout the day. So the first, obviously, the JAX difference versus the end of day shows you at the open what has changed compared to the previous day, right? So very important, because imagine we have Nvidia earnings, or we have Amazon earnings, or we have like the Fed speaks, and the next day maybe the situation has changed dramatically because a lot of participants are repositioning quite heavily. So you want to spot the changes, but also throughout the day we're actually going to have another model, which is the JAX difference versus the previous snapshot. So in this case, what we look for is how has the 12:15 snapshot changed compared to the 10:45. And here we see the strikes that have seen the highest negative change in gamma and the most positive change in gamma right there. And you can also, again, go back in time and maybe look at the previous one. So we look at the 10:45 versus the open. So we see obviously an accumulation of kind of positive gamma at these strike prices. And obviously we see also like our put support, our core resistance level. All right, so very, very important. But then, like, what if you wanted to get a feel and contextualize this? What does this mean, and how can I quickly understand, even if I don't really know options data. And this is why we introduce our intraday liquidity summary. And I think this would be an amazing tool for everyone to kind of like read, understand what's going on, and go through like, what does this mean for you? What does this mean for the asset? So the first thing we want to look for is our gamma condition. So we want to see intraday if there's any changes in gamma conditions. So this would tell you, for example, that currently we are in a positive gamma, but there was a change compared to the previous one, if that happens. In this case, it's not happening today, but we are in a positive gamma environment, and we are in a call-dominated environment as well. So very important, because that can help you understand the volatility for the day, maybe like the sentiment for the day, and so on.
Yesterday,
Then,
Fabio, we were
yeah,
speaking about this. Only as I remember. So why is this important for risk management to look into this?
yeah, because basically, like if we go back to our liquidity snapshot, the first thing we want to look for every morning is really like, look at the gamma condition. Look at, are we in positive or negative gamma? Because we know that in positive gamma, because of the way the market has to hedge those options positions, we're going to see a lower volatility. So we're going to see like steady price movements, right? If we are in negative gamma, on the other hand, we could see an increase in volatility. And that doesn't mean, again, that the price is going to go down or drop, or is going to go up. It just means that it could actually move very fast. So for you, as a trader, knowing if it's going to be a positive gamma day or a negative gamma day could mean a lot, because it could significantly impact your risk management, your potential take profit targets, and also your potential risk, right?
Yeah.
Then we want to look at how the net gamma exposure has changed compared to yesterday. So here we can quickly see that, for example, since yesterday, the net JAX has increased by 19.57 million, which is about 13% increase. And it went from 148 million to 167.86 million right now. But also we want to look at how has the JAX changed since the previous snapshot. So since 1045, net JAX has increased by 7 million, which is approximately 4.75% of JAX. And also we want to do the same thing with DEX, because we want to understand, okay, basically where are, what are the levels, and what is the value that market makers might need to hedge if the market moves. Then obviously we look at volume. Volume is very important, especially intraday. So what we do is we look at the put call volume ratio. So in this case, the ratio is now 0.37. Above 1, you are going to see basically a higher level of puts compared to calls. Below 1, the ratio is more kind of skewed towards the call volume. And we can also see it right here, where our call volume has increased 63%, and it's 163K, and compared to our put volume, which is only 60,000 right now. Then we want to show you the top strikes with the highest volume. So here you have strike 1 to strike 5. What are the strikes with the highest volume, and are they on the call side or are they on the put side? So we see that, for example, there's a lot of volume on these puts, and it could also mean that the market is moving higher, and a lot of people are then closing those puts because maybe they are now out of the money, or maybe they are taking risk management and taking their hedges off those levels, right?
In
Okay.
short term, Fabio, to speak about this, so with the intraday liquidity summary, you'll be able to get an idea about your risk management, how you could be leveraged on this if you see the gamma condition. Secondly, you see also the hedging from the market, how the big players are positioning themselves, how they hedging. You see it, and then we speaking about the put and call ratio. So you
Yeah.
see the position in the market, and also now I remember there was many people who were speaking about, hey, can you show us the volume on the strikes? Can you show us the change? We was delivering this now. You see now the top 5 volume strikes, and this is really critical to know which strike have impact. Fabio was going over this yesterday, and I say, Fabio, why is this important to look into this in the change based on maybe targeting the something and position sizing? Why is this important to look into the volume strikes?
Because I mean, volume is very key, right? So intraday, obviously open interest only changes once a day, but volume does update throughout the day. So knowing, for example, if we are in like a call dominated volume environment, so in this case we have a very low put call volume ratio, that means that obviously there's more activity on the call side, but also knowing, for example, that there's a lot of volume and the top strikes are the put side is very important, because if we go to the price of Meta right now, so obviously you can see that the stock is up 2.49% and the price is 607. So if we go back to our liquidity summary, it could very well mean that a lot of these out of the money strikes are now getting closed because the price is moving so far away from those strikes. So for you, if you are in a bullish or bearish position, it's like it could be like a very important sign of like what's happening with the stock, and look at the crazy momentum right there, and also what's happening with the hedges. So then you can combine that with our gamma levels, and then obviously we're going to go through also the rest of the liquidity summary, but very, very important to understand which are the highest strike that are getting a lot of volume as well.
I think, Fabio, we're getting a good question about this. Why does put S5 have a larger volume than put S1 on Meta?
Why does
S5 have a larger volume than put S1?
Yeah, we are inverting this, so this is going to change. So right now is 5 as the highest, but it's going to become 1, so it's just an ordering issue. Yeah, but essentially these are the top 5 strikes with the highest volume, basically. Yeah. All right, the next part is also very important, right? Okay, so now we're talking about gamma levels, and we're talking about our primary levels and our gamma flip levels, so our high vol levels. So what we want to monitor is how the core resistance, put support, and obviously the 0 DT level change intraday. So for example, our core resistance is unchanged, it's still at 600, and it's 4.34 points above, below the spot price. So we are above, now the spot price is above the core resistance level. And as you can see, there was a strong momentum. So the core resistance, and we're going to add the levels in a second, became a very strong inflection point right there. Then we want to look at the 0 DT levels. So obviously also the 0 DT core resistance is at 600. And then we have our put support at 565, which is about 40 points below the spot price. And also we have our put support 0 DT at 565. Then we want to monitor our gamma flip level or a high vol level. So where does the market go from positive to negative gamma, and how is that changing throughout the day? So in this case, our high vol level is unchanged, 567.5. So we are way above the high vol level. We're in positive gamma. And then also we have our high vol level 0 DTs, which is also unchanged, and it's at 572.5. Okay. And then finally, we also want to understand what are the strike price that are seeing the biggest gamma increase or the biggest negative gamma increase as well. So here we have, for example, our 610, which has seen a 9.61% increase in gamma since the previous snapshot. Our 620, our 635 has seen an increase of 28%. And also on the negative side, we've seen a decrease of 1 million in jacks, which is 12% on the 580, 595, 582, and 590, right? So going back to, for example, our previous model, which is our jacks difference, the liquidity summary will allow you to understand this chart and will allow you to picture what are the strikes that are seeing a biggest increase or decrease in gamma, volume, and how are the levels changing. Let's see if we have any question.
Fabio, I think we get a really good customer feedback. And can you build, please, this different screenshots for the futures, even if at the end of the day, so that we compare the last day with today? So this would be also a really helpful one.
Yeah. I mean, with you can also use the dashboard on futures. So you can, if we scroll down right here, you can also, obviously with the future, you don't have the intraday levels, but you do have the end of day, and then basically you will be able to add the futures to your dashboard. Right now, what happens if, for example, some of the models are not available on futures, you're not going to see the data, but we are going to build a specific dashboard related to futures. So yes, you can do that, absolutely. Let's see if we have, and obviously right here with the calendar, you can always go back in time. So if you wanted to see, for example, the intraday commands from yesterday, you can actually go back in time, type the day of yesterday, and then look at, for example, the liquidity summary from yesterday or the JAX difference from yesterday and so on. All right. So let's look at now how to add the levels to TradingView. Maybe Patrick, I don't know if we have more questions, but
Yeah, I think we cover everything, but there's also some question. Can you from Wolf here? Question: can you elaborate on the difference between liquidity snapshot, put call, open interest ratio versus liquidity summary and the volume info?
Absolutely. So let's open it up right here. So if we go on end of day commands, okay. So the liquidity snapshot will give you the end of day price, the percent of change, the put call open interest ratio with the end of day data, so the options at the end of the day. Based on that, we calculate the 1 day expected move for the next day. We calculate the gamma conditions. So are we in a positive or negative gamma? We have our momentum model. We have implied volatility and historical volatility. And then we also have the change in the 30-day implied volatility and then the IV rank. So are we in, for example, compared to the last year, is volatility high or low? And that could really help you understand, okay, is this a good time to buy option, to sell option, and so on. And then really the volatility regime is really the ratio between implied volatility and historical volatility. And then we also have a lot of documentation to explain this. If we go to the liquidity summary, some of this data might be here as well, but we are, in this case, capturing the snapshot. So what are the things that we want to look for when we start our routine? So first thing we want to know is, of course, the percentage change of the previous day. Are we in a put call open interest environment? So are we in a put dominated option environment, or are we in a call dominated option environment? And we calculate that with the put call open interest ratio. And then obviously we calculate our gamma regime and our momentum. So the first snapshot is really, okay, let's look at the end of day stuff. When you open your screen, I want to look for an idea of where my asset will be. And I also want to monitor potential changes in implied volatility or historical volatility and so on.
We
When
get
you
a weak
go,
question from him.
sorry?
We get a weak question from Wolf.
Okay, sure. Well, the liquidity summary is intraday, so yeah, not necessary. And also, like, we are looking at the put call volume ratio, which is different from the put call open interest ratio, right? So those are two different type of ratios. And also this is intraday, so yes, it could be different for sure. Okay.
I think then we cover all dashboard questions.
Direction. Okay. So the next step is now let's go and let's, Tesla as an example. I want to get my TradingView levels intraday. And I also want to get my end of day levels. So for those who have followed us, we've provided you with obviously end of day levels, which have been very effective for over a year and a half. So here now we have this is our end of day levels. So we copy this and we're going to go into our TradingView and I'm going to show you how you can quickly analyze it. So first thing is I added two indicators. The first indicator is going to plot my end of day levels. So I'm going to plot them right there. And then I'm going to go on to Tesla. Right. So I colored them all in white so that we can quickly understand that the white is the end of day. And then I'm going to go back to my intraday levels and I can go back to my 935 snapshot. And the reason why I want to look at the 935 is because besides some of the level that could have changed, I also have a different 1-day max and 1-day minimum, which is readjusted at the open. So very, very important. And what I do right there, I now can have my second indicator where I now have my intraday levels. So as you can see, some of them might be similar. So for example, we have our core resistance 0 DTE, which is still here. Our JAX1 is still at the 350 level, but our HVL 0 DTE from end of day has moved up right here. And also our put support, which was, I think it was all the way down here somewhere, has also moved up, right? And our put support 0DT is still there. And as you can see, our 1-day minimum and our 1-day max are kind of slightly different right there. So you have them right here. So you can kind of use those in conjunction. So the first one is our end of day levels, and the second one is our intraday levels.
Yep. And then we get some TradingView question from Kuma. I'm new user and welcome first. Do I need to use the same user ID and password? I think it's depend on the TradingView. So you need not the same. So you can go in our Discord. We have the integrations first. Then you can click there, or you go to our MentorQ dashboard, and you have also the tab integration there, and then you can get the link to the indicator there.
Yeah, and you don't need to have the same email address. It's not connected to your email address. So right now, you just click on the link, you save the indicator to your favorite, and then simply once you have that, your indicator will be right here. Simply open it up, and then you have the input section, right? All right. What was the question? Okay, okay, let's go through this other question. Their swing level, intraday level, JAX level, end of day level. Yes. Okay. Conversion. We're going to go into conversion. So yes, you can. So as we showed you, not on the same tab, but you can have the different levels right here. So I have my TradingView levels, my blind spot level, my swing levels right there. The intraday right now is still under the bot section right here, the ask section. So you need to come here and just request them from here. And then conversion, we're going to go into conversion. So, okay, so now we have two indicators. We have our end of day and we have our intraday right there. You could even add more if you want to have more like timestamp, but to keep it simple, I would just simply have maybe two of them. And I would also maybe change the intraday levels once I get a new snapshot. So you can always come back here and click on the TradingView levels intraday. And then obviously now we have the 12:30 snapshot. Come here and just like update the levels right there. Very, very easy. And then simply click OK. And then now you see that some of this level might have changed. Okay, so we have QQQ right there. Right. So now we have our intraday levels. Okay. So with the latest release, we now integrate with 8 different platforms. So we're gonna spend more time on TradingView today, but with the other platform, NinjaTrader, Quantower, Sierra Chart, Bookmap, Atas, we are connected directly via API. So you'll be able to pull in the intraday levels directly simply with using an API key. With TradingView, we are gonna have the levels auto-updating very shortly, but for now, you still need to come here and upload them. And this is due to a limitation on the platform, but we are working towards that. And very soon you're going to have the auto update of the levels directly in the chart. Okay. So now let's go to our futures traders, right? So first of all, if you're trading futures, we have gamma levels on futures. So let's go on ES first. We're going to have an example here. So I can come here to my dashboard and I can copy my ES gamma levels, and I'm going to go into my end of day chart right there, and I'm going to add them right there. So now we're going to my ES. All right, so now we have our futures end of day gamma levels. What if you wanted to have an intraday update, right? And what if you wanted to leverage the intraday gamma levels? So right now we don't have the intraday gamma levels on futures, but we do have the intraday gamma levels on stocks or ETFs. So let's go back here and let's actually look at the SPX, right? And let's go and get our TradingView levels right there. So we click on SPX, and then we look at our intraday commands. And then we have our TradingView levels. So now let's copy the 12:30 snapshot intraday levels for SPX, and we go back to our indicator right there, and we plot the levels right there. And why am I doing this? Because obviously ES and SPX are very high correlated, and obviously the gamma levels of SPX will be very, very important for ES as well. And what we're going to do right now is show you how you can quickly convert the SPX gamma levels into ES. And these are intraday gamma levels converted to the futures that you can then use in conjunction with the end of day gamma levels, which actually works really well as well. So to do that, I can scroll down to the indicator and I can click on these level conversion settings right here. And I already have the box set up. So I can convert SPX to ES, and I can also define what is the conversion. So can I use an auto ratio or a manual ratio? Yesterday, we spent a lot of time on this, so we're not going to talk too much today, but let's just use the auto ratio for simplicity and then click OK. Oh, sorry, made a mistake. I need to convert to the actual future.
But this mistake is great, Fabio, because many traders doing this. So this is an small reminder for all of you. If you be converting in TradingView from SPX to ES, for example, use the right futures contract. If you're looking for ES1, okay, then convert to ES1. But Fabio was looking to the ESZ contract. So then it's the right that you connect to the ESZ. So it's a small reminder. Thanks for the mistake, Fabio.
Thank you. Thank you. So as you can see right here, now we have our In white, we have our futures gamma levels, and in red, we have our intraday SPX gamma levels, right? So obviously, again, JAX2, we have the confluence right there. We also have our high vol level and our put support 0 Ds from SPX. And then obviously we also have our 1-day max, our 1-day minimum. These are intraday, right? These are the end of day from the future. So you can have them right there.
But when we're speaking about the futures, Fabio, let's give the people some idea. So when we're speaking about ES, so what intraday levels you can use? You can use, for example, SPX. Why you should more using SPX, Fabio, and not SPY?
So yes, absolutely. So first of all, let's go back here and let's look at all the data that we can provide, and let's go into the end of day first. So first of all, we have access to the option chain of SPX, the option chain of SPY, which is obviously the ETF. So we can click on this one, and also the option chain of the future. So ESZ 2024, and then we have our net gamma exposure chart. So as you guys can see, the pictures are very similar, but also kind of different. And the reason is very simple, and I think we should stress on this a lot, because even if you're trading futures, you always need to monitor the other correlated assets, because you also want to understand who are the customers of those assets and how can that impact your underlying. So if we look at the futures, for example, Patrick, most future will be traded by day traders like yourself, scalpers, but they will also be traded by big institutions for hedging purposes. So if you're trying to hedge a large position on the S&P 500, that you're a large asset manager, you might use futures to make it simple, and because they use leverage. So obviously monitoring the ES, very important. Then you have SPY, right? So SPY would be traded very heavily by retail investors that have like a longer term view. They want to get a hedge in the market, they want to get exposure, and they would buy just a SPY ETF just to put in their 401k or in their trading account. But this will also be traded by big asset managers that are just really using the SPY as an exposure tool for the American stock market. And then finally, you have the SPX, which is obviously the largest asset by option volumes. So if you're trading ES, you'll always want to monitor the SPX flow as well, because it could actually have a really big impact because it's the largest by option volume. And then by doing that, you could potentially convert any of these assets into your future. And you can also do the same thing with NQ. So for those who are trading NQ, you could use our QQQ.
And the same question, why QQQ and not NDX?
So QQQ is, I believe there is way more volume on options. So if we look at the net gamma exposure, you see it right there. So you see the difference here. We have 50 million in net gamma exposure versus about 1 million in NDX. So QQQ is by far the largest ETF for technology. So if you are looking to get an exposure to the technology sector and you don't have the capital to trade NQ, also the risk, because NQ moves really fast, as you know, Patrick, you're most likely going to trade the QQQ, maybe buying options on QQQ or simply buying the underlying. So as you can see, a lot of more gamma there compared to the NDX, which really follows the Nasdaq. So I would say QQQ has a lot of significance. So you can also very easy do the same thing. So if we want to convert our intraday level, we can go here and we can get our, in this case, our NDX, but let's go into our QQQ. Then we can go again. This is our intraday 12:30 snapshot. We go back to our chart and let's go back to our intraday levels. And then simply, again, very easy, we can actually come down here and we already have a box open where I'm converting QQQ to NQ. Right. So now,
But you're an NQ1, yeah?
Yep. Thank you. So now, right here, we have the QQQ levels converted to NQ intraday. And then what we can also do is we can come back here, and now I need to get my NQ. I'm just going to change the ticker, very easy. And then we can go and get our TradingView levels. And I'm just going to copy this and come here and just put my NQ1 right there. And now we have our NQ1 levels in white and our intraday QQQ levels in red.
Perfect.
Very, very powerful.
Okay, so let's speak about a little bit faster about the other major futures for people trading. So when we came to the Dow Jones, so what people can doing? So only as an insider, I'm using since beginning. If I'm looking to the Dow Jones, I'm looking for the ES gamma levels to plot this on my Dow Jones chart. So this is something what I'm teaching all since day one here on MentorQ. But also we have for this option the Dow Jones ETF, the Diamond.
Yeah.
So
so basically, for those who trade the Dow, there is no option activity on the future side. So there's not really gamma levels or significant gamma levels at the future side. But then what you shouldn't really stop there, because we do have a lot of different ways of getting the data. So the first thing we have is our DIA, so the ETF, and then we can go. So first of all, you have the intraday gamma levels from DIA, right? So we can go here, we can copy those, and then go back to the indicator, and now we're going into the intraday indicator, and then type the levels, and then simply come back here, and then you see that you have the option to convert. So I'm simply typing my DIA. I'm converting from DIA to YM1. Again, we're using the auto ratio. And then now we can go on YM. And basically now my gamma levels for YM are right here. But as Patrick mentioned, I could also want to convert other gamma levels. So let's say that I want to convert, in this case, let's try SPX just for simplicity. I can go and convert my SPX gamma levels to YM, and now you have them also right there.
yeah. And now to make it a little bit complicated, but really easy to understand. So, and we support the Dow Jones futures with the blind spots. So if you want to use blind spots, we support this. So then you can use the futures contract for the blind spots. So, but this is the only thing where we have to be a little bit careful with the Dow Jones futures. So use the Diamond ETF. You can plot the ES futures to the Dow Jones futures or the SPX. It's really easy and simple. And we have also the blind spots for the Dow Jones.
Yeah. So again, always be careful about the contract ticker. Then now we have our interesting. Oh, okay, sorry. They're all the way up here.
No, yeah, now it's there.
All right.
But to say it, you was using not the JM1 blind spot, so this is why it was not matching. It was
Okay.
using the
Nice.
other contract. Okay, and for the Russell 2000, Fabi, what we have for the Russell 2000?
Yeah. So the Russell, you also have the futures. So if you click on RTY, and we have the futures levels, so we can go and get the TradingView levels for the futures, and then we come here. These are the end of day. Right. And then we also have the IWM, so the ETF. And then we can also come here and we can go into the intraday levels. And then
again, to ask you about why you choosing IWM and not the indices from the Russell. So it's the same, like it's all about volume, correct?
Yeah, volume and option volume. And and IWM is really, if you are a retail investor that want to get exposure to the Russell, the IWM would be the best kind of like ETFs that you would use. All right.
All right, then we came to gold and crude oil. And after this, I think we cover every major futures. Oh, but don't forget, we have also Bitcoin and maybe one forex one.
Sure. So for gold, again, we can use our CL. So let's see, CLF 2025. So right now we're using the January contract, which is the first contract which has levels. And then we are getting our TradingView levels on the future. Let's go back right here. Let's start with the end of day. And then in the case of crude oil, we would use the USO ETF, which is the ETF that follows the crude oil price, and we can use our intraday command right there. And then simply by converting those, we can also plot them on crude oil. So we are going to go now on the conversion side, and we're going to go from USO to CLF. Right, and then we're going to go on to CL. And now we have our in white our futures level, and in red our intraday USO gamma levels. Very nice. And then for gold, again, we can go here on GC. And then I think the first one we have is this one, GCG. And then let's go and take our TradingView levels. All right, and now for gold, we would use GLD. And then we go and get our intraday TradingView levels right there. And then simply change GLD to GCG. And now here we have our levels.
So last but not least, let's do it for Bitcoin. And then let's pick 6E as example for forex. And and I will answer some questions in this case. Sean, The blind spots levels change intraday. No, it's end of the day, so we calculate this only once a time. And Vega about the ETFs. So we was talking about this, so you can rewatch this. So if you be a futures trader, I will say this again. So if you're using the ES, so the best case is looking for the SPX. If you're trading the NQ, the best case is looking for the QQQ. If you using the Russell futures, looking for the IWM. If you're looking for crude oil, looking for the USO ETF. If you're looking for gold, looking for the GLD. If you're looking for the Dow Jones, so looking to the diamond. And Fabio is now showing you about the MBT, so the Bitcoin futures. And last but not least, the 6E forex futures.
Yeah. So with Bitcoin, you can use the futures level, but today I'm also going to show you that we also have the new ETFs. So the IBIT, so the iShares ETFs that now has options trading. We're also going to get those, and you're also going to have the intraday levels right there. So we can quickly go and get our TradingView levels for IBIT. Go into our intraday levels right there. Simply convert IBIT to Bitcoin. Right. And the last one, so Patrick, you want the 6E, right? I think you're on mute, Patrick.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And for 6E, which other asset do you want me to look for?
So now I would say, Fabio, for the people who don't know what ETFs they can looking into this, so go the first step is go to Google and then watching for the ETF. So I will do this also on my end with you together. So looking for the Euro Forex ETF, and then you get the Euro ETF tracker. So you get many ideas what ETF you can use. Also, you can go into your Ninja Trader and can type in the euro or the forex, and then you can find this. So if you want, we can do this together. So for everyone who looking for this.
Yeah, and also like if you want to convert this to your forex pairs, you can very quickly do it with this one. So 6E to right. Yeah, and then you have it right here.
Yeah.
And you can do the same with the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, franc, British pound, and Japanese yen as well.
Yes. All right.
All right. So where can you, I think there was a lot of question on how to learn about this. So I think the best step is create an account. You can access our guides for free. So if you to create an account, very easy, just go to mentorq.free. You can access all our data right there. So we have our intraday gamma models right there. a lot of documentation, videos, all the different models that we have. But also, if you want to also look at all our tutorial videos, you can click on the Academy, and you can access for free a lot of these videos right here. So you can access our gamma levels, blind spot indicators, swing levels. All of this is available for you. So you can access all of these by just creating a free account. You have our training, our trading with Mentor Q, our gamma levels right there, our swing levels right here, our blind spots, and all of that right there. So if you want to learn what they are, you can very easily access one of the courses right there. There's videos, there's how do you trade the core resistance level, how do you trade a put support or the 1-day max, etc. So there's a lot of information right there.
But Fabio, to give the answers of what ETF, I hope everyone was looking into this. So there is the website. It calls ETF a database. So it's like FXE. So this is the Invesco Currency Shares Euro Trust. We support this also from Mentor Q. We have there the levels, so you can use this. So what I want to tell you, if you have no idea what ETF, maybe you can also using to plot some gamma levels on other assets. Go into Google and search for this, and you will find most of the time the ETF database. So there you get some information also about the volumes, and then check if we support this, and then you can plot this. Really simple and easy.
Yeah, and I think there was a questions from do we support only, let me see what the question is. Are we for stock, option only, or futures? So we do have, we support basically stocks, ETFs, indices, futures, and crypto. So here you can see, for example, by clicking on products, you can see all the different assets that we support. So we have forex futures, fixed income futures, commodities, crypto. So for whatever asset you want, you just click on the asset right there, and then basically you would have the different models that we support. So we have our CTAs model, we have our zero DTs, our gamma levels, and then for stocks and indices, we also have our swing models. And there's a lot of our skew models. There's a lot of really interesting stuff here.
Yeah. And Fabio, I think before we came now to the last minutes, so let's go to the member success stories as usual, to show you how the people was performing.
Yeah, one sec.
From our Discord.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just open up Discord right here.
Maybe scroll down to the end, so then we get the fresh ones. So, all right, Trade Pete, like it, love it. So you are the Picasso. So, but what I really like, so 2 days in a row, nice. So he's a new user, John Week. So now you're making nice profits with us. Perfect. And this is something really cool. And a big shout out to the Top Step TV crew, to Anne Marie and also Dee. We were having a great session today. And when I read something like this, it's so amazing. Just open the combine, since it was ranging day, put support to almost call resistance, 38 points. Long story short, he make now almost 1K in his combine, and congratulations, big shout out to you. And yeah, so this is how it could be. Of course, it's trading is never easy, but if you have a plan, if you have a good risk management, then you become to this level, and with the right tools. And we proved this. So in the member success, there are enough members who are having great success with us, and yeah, so we are the great tool for you. Hey, Feng Liang. I am John Beach here. So yeah, big shout out to you, my friend.
Welcome. Congrats, for sure.
Great. Yes.
Right. So yeah, so let's see if we have more questions. So the goal of today's session was really to go over how you can very easily use our new tools. So obviously you now have your dashboard, you can now create your watch list, you can now access all our models very easy. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible to be in the market, active, less than a few minutes a day, quickly understand what's going on. And very, very soon, we're also going to have more exciting tools that we're going to deliver through the dashboard and more exciting functionality as well. But everything is there for you to be able to obviously have access to institutional level data, have access to all these models, and be able to really look at what's going on in the asset that you care about.
Yeah, and to give you some overview of what live sessions we have for this week scheduled for you, you can go into our calendar, so what you can find on our Discord, or you can go to the YouTube in the live sessions where you can already find what we're doing. So we have our swing trading levels for futures traders tomorrow. We
Mhm.
have intraday gamma model. We're speaking about the location. So think about our online course where we were speaking about timing, setup, and location. So this is all about this. So we was saying today, okay, how you can set up your dashboard, how you can build your routine, how you can set up your indicators. Tomorrow we speak about location. Okay, what are this meaning when we and what are the levels telling us? Short.
Mhm.
Then we're speaking about intraday levels also for futures traders. So we're making a recap how you can use this, how they was performing, and then on Friday we have our special session in Mentor Q and Bookmap. We have Pete there, so we will speak about Mentor Q and Bookmap, how this will be working together.
Yeah.
He's also here with the nickname New Wave Trading. So Pete, big shout out to you. We will see us on Friday. Yeah, would be a nice one.
Yeah, very exciting. And thank you, Pete, for being here with us. You were obviously a great addition to the community. And on Friday, you're going to show us how to combine the power of Mentor Q with obviously the power of Bookmap, right? So for those who are interested in Bookmap, interested in obviously leveraging the volume, all the heat maps, and all the functionality, Pete is going to show us how to combine that with the option data and how you can connect that into the application. So it's going to be a very, very great session to end the week. And again, yeah, tomorrow we're going to have more stuff, swing trading, intraday gamma models. So very exciting.
And maybe you can go to our academy really quick because we get the question, do we have dark puts? No, we don't have dark puts. We have blind spots. What are blind spots? So if you can register for free, and you can find there our session about blind spots where we was going in detail what are the blind spots are, and there you can find this. Sign up for our Discord, sign up for the academy. You have free courses there. Take advantage of this, and there you can find what are blind spots.
Yeah, absolutely. And then together with blind spots, you can also access for free our gamma levels course. That's going to show you basically how to use the different levels, how to use the intraday models, and also we have our swing. We're going to talk about swing trading next this week, but we also have our swing trading model right there. We have back testing results of the swing trading model, so there's a lot of information that is available for you guys. So
Yes. All right.
great. So for those who are not part of our group, please follow us on YouTube. We're going to have a lot of live session going forward, so you can always be alerted. So please drop us a like. This would really help us. Thank you very much for watching us. And for those who want to access our academy, access our guides, access the free content, just sign up for free. And then you can find all the information directly on our website. So really excited, and thank you guys for watching, and have a great rest of the day. And again, thank you, Patrick, as always.
Yeah, and my wife told every time, man, you must always have the last word. Oh, sorry, my friends. But if you cannot get enough from us, So go in our YouTube channel, go in the live section, and watch the session from Emery, D, Fabio, and me. So what we was doing on Black Friday. So this is the scammer levels on futures. This is an amazing session, really deep dive, 1 hour. I'm highly recommend to watch this. And yeah, but I will not have the last word. So Fabio, I give the last word to you. Everyone, have a good day. We see us. But Fabio, you
Yeah,
get the last word.
yeah, I'm just gonna post the link to the video in the comments, so everybody can access. It's also, yeah, as you said, within our live right here. It was great to have them. Great session, really, really was amazing. And again, like guys, thank you and have a great rest of the day. Thank you, guys. Bye.